You are listening to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all the latest news, Overwatch League results, and mishaps in Overwatch. Here are your hosts, Totemly Drunk and Edinar.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all things Overwatch. I am your host, Totally Drunk. At tonight, in episode 212, we're going to be taking a look at the most recent news around Overwatch, its competitive scene, and of course, so much else outside of that. But before we can do that and introduce you to my co-host, let me just quickly take a moment to thank anyone who is joining us tonight for a little bit of a delayed episode on Twitch, but I do, of course, want to thank all of our repeat listeners out there as well. So, as you can tell, joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host, Ednard. Ed, you know, it's been an interesting week, a lot of excitement in regards to the Overwatch League with the culmination of the May Melee. We got a little bit of lore to talk about tonight that was kind of hinted at here in recent months. Finally happening after it got a little bit of a delay, but quite a bit to actually dive into. But looking back at the past week, how's everything been treating you?
It's been pretty good, actually. I gave myself my own beard trim because I was starting to look like an extra in Duck Dynasty. And it did not go swimmingly, but it didn't go horribly. So I consider that an overall win for me. But yeah, no, things have been pretty smooth. Lots of gaming going on, all around. Yeah, it's just overall been fun but hectic. Just living the quarantine life. It's a little harder now that it's like 80 degrees out.
Harder in the sense that harder for you to stay inside, or
Yeah, exactly. Like when it was like 45 degrees out, I'm like, well, shit, I'm not gonna go out and do stuff.
Mhm.
It's fucking 45 degrees out. Now it's like 81, and I'm like, crap. Now I actually want to go out and do stuff, and it's a little harder. But I persisted with the staying in. Thus, I gave myself my own beard trim. And like, I don't. If you look on stream, completely screwed up the sideburns. Not evenly matched whatsoever. And then there was the incident with the jalapeno. So there's that.
Yeah. Stuff
I'm just
happens.
gonna tell it. So what happened was, and I won't use the rough language I used on dropping spicy, but I was cooking and I cut up a jalapeno. Stupid me, I forgot to wash my hands afterwards
Mm-hmm.
and proceeded to adjust myself. Okay. So I did all that, and about 5 minutes later, I was in excruciating pain. To put it bluntly, I had to have an ice pack in my boxers to help deal with the pain. And every guy has done something like this with some sort of spice before. I swear to God. And if you haven't, you're lying.
Well, if it's not there, it's usually people touching their eye.
Eye or like even ear. I've had it in the
Mhm.
ear. Like I just had an itch in the ear. Like, oh shit! Now the inside of my ear burns,
Yeah, yeah.
which is a very weird sensation.
Keep your fingers away from any and/or all orifices after handling hot food.
Yeah. So that was my weekend. I was in a lot of pain, but even I can make fun of myself, as we are well aware of.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you had a fun weekend.
Yeah, I had the Chattanooga Film Festival, which was done entirely online. So that was going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Wait, you didn't go to Chattanooga?
No, I did not actually go to Chattanooga. For reasons. But you know, it was a really good time. We did a lot of like quick reviews for the Handle with Scare episode that we recorded on Monday. Yeah, it was Monday because my co-host Vashti didn't do the single day till like the very last day of the festival. So we were trying to just knock out as much as we can ahead of time, but that was an interesting experience. Not too many hiccups in regards to like the platform in itself. You know, just having the festival online. They did have like a schedule where they did the like panels and things like that, and then if you wanted to watch it after the fact, of course everything was on VOD. But like all of the movies and stuff were on video on demand. So you could just watch whenever. You could like flag stuff that you wanted to watch and set it as like a favorite. And then they also, if you stopped for whatever reason, they did have like the playback feature to resume wherever you were. So that was a really good time. Got to see some stuff ahead of time that would be going to like a streaming service like Shudder later in the summer. So getting an early glimpse at some of their offerings. So some very interesting movies in particular, like Jumbo, which is a French film about an amusement park worker who falls in love with a tilt-a-whirl. You also had the
What now? No. We're going back to that one. The plot of the movie is a guy falls in love
a girl.
with
It's a girl.
a girl falls in love with a tilt-a-whirl machine.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. No.
I mean, some people have objectophilia.
No.
I mean, that's a thing.
That should not be a movie.
I mean, it's French. What do you expect?
Fine.
It was an interesting movie. Very depressing in some parts because of like how misunderstood the female was by her family in particular. But there's also Eat Brains Love, which was a zombie horror comedy or a zombie rom-com, I guess is the genre that they kind of dubbed it, which had a great opening sequence, right? Where, you see like the stoner guy going down on a girl, only to find out that as like he's eating her out, he's literally eating her. So yeah, that was a thing. That movie had like a fixation with genital mutilation, because that's not the only scene in particular. But anyways, if you want to find out more about that movie, check out Handle with Scare. But let's talk Overwatch. That's what we're here to talk about. Actually, quite a bit going on, but before we talk all things Overwatch, let's talk just general Blizzard here really quick, and that is that we do have an update on BlizzCon 2020 and its status for the year. So Blizzard basically came out saying that after considering the options, the company has come to the difficult decision of not holding BlizzCon this year. Now, they did note that they are looking into connecting with the fans some way online, so if we are going to get like some sort of virtual experience, we likely wouldn't get to see it until sometime early 2021. Now, of course, with BlizzCon, you also have to talk about, like, the esports titles and what that's going to be moving forward, and they are looking into alternatives for those events as well, the things that do happen at BlizzCon every year. So, like, for Overwatch, obviously, the status of the World Cup right now is kind of just an unknown at this given point in time. But, I don't think either one of us were really too surprised by the decision to just cancel it outright. I know some people are like, well, people are like, well, it sucks that it canceled, but like the reason why they canceled it so early is just because the amount of time that a lot of people not only put into the event, but also like planning out to attend the event. So they don't want anyone to kind of get, screwed out of, like thousands of dollars essentially to, fly out to California in November, knowing that there was a chance that there might not be an event.
Yeah, no, I knew there was not going to be an event a month ago, more than a month ago. Mainly because a couple of factors. One, obviously, COVID-19, and we've talked previously about how it, it didn't even make sense for them to have a BlizzCon this year, regardless of COVID-19. There's legit nothing for them to announce. They already announced a WoW expansion.
Mhm.
Hearthstone is not worthy of its own major BlizzCon, really. Honestly, if they were ever going to do a major BlizzCon announcement for Hearthstone, it would have been last year with Battlegrounds. Overwatch, we already know Overwatch 2 is coming out. They already announced Diablo 4. StarCraft is a nowhere game, and well, Heroes of the Storm. Yeah. So really, all it was is the esports aspect of it, and that's just all going to get done on.
Mm-hmm.
There was no need, and this is not the first time they have had no BlizzCon.
Right.
Like, this has happened before. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's bittersweet though, because you think about all the stuff that happens outside of BlizzCon with the community events and everything like that. I know Calm Before the Storm had sent out a tweet that they're still looking at things that they can do around, when BlizzCon is usually happening. So do not be surprised if you continue to see panels being put together amongst the Blizzard podcasters out there for the major titles. And if for whatever reason that falls through, maybe we can put something together for the Overwatch side of things. But one way or another, they cancel it for the right reasons. If things happen to clear up, I'll probably still end up planning a West Coast trip, be it to Vegas or Cali. But with the timetable constantly changing, states opening up and then having major spikes in regards to COVID death rates. Not naming any states, Wisconsin. But we can't really take a wait and see approach when it comes to something that takes several months, if not the entire year to plan. So regardless, this is not okay, well, we'll, sucks that it's canceled. It's, well, we're still going to see you. It will just be the following year. And it gives, more time for, people to save up should they want to attend in 2021. And of course, with any other updates for, an online platform, we'll be sure to let you guys know. But for now, you can, use that money towards other things in, the ongoing pandemic. Or, just save for next year, whichever.
Yeah, one of the two.
One of the two. But anyways, let's talk Overwatch. So we got an update on the Overwatch official novel. This is the first one that they released, and this is The Hero of Numbani, which is set to release on June 2nd. That's next week. Hold on, that's pretty
it's
soon.
real quick.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday. So yeah. So the book, again, I know we've covered this in the past, but this one will revolve around the story of Effie and Orisa. And, I have to say, the cost points on these are really good. The paperback copy is only $10. You can get the digital version of the book as well for $5.99. And you can go ahead and pre-order this over on Amazon. So the book is written by Nikki Drayden, who wrote the Prey of God series, and the book is being published by Scholastic. And this is going to follow basically the events that took place in Numbani after Doomfist, absolutely destroyed the airport. Still dealing with that cleanup, but you can find an excerpt of the book available for free on the Overwatch website. Now, I will say, and I honestly didn't look too much into this. I haven't read the excerpts, but I know you were pretty hyped about this. So, anything in particular that really stood out, whether it was lore based or even something from the snippet that they did release here?
Well, it's more that we're actually getting Overwatch lore, which is not something that we're used to actually getting.
Hmm.
And it's not a small, like you would think for $5.99 for the digital, $10 for the paperback, that it's not. The digital edition is over 300 pages. So this is not like some little, rinky dink type of, you know, type of book. It's a 300-page lore book, which is more than we've ever even contemplated getting. So this is definitely something I'm very, very excited for. I already pre-ordered it. I don't care about paperback.
Hmm.
I just went with the digital, the e-reader. I have an e-reader, so it makes sense. Like I have a Kindle, so obviously gonna get it on the Kindle, so I can read it right away. You know, whether I go through it all real quick, that depends on the book. But it's nice to actually get lore because we've never gotten lore in this game before. And people are like, "Oh, we got lore. We got a minute and a half shorts."
We basically got lore like let's say for cooking, like when you use a sprinkle of something. Like it's
Mhm.
not really enough to even like whet the appetite, if we're being honest.
Yeah, no, it's not. So yeah, it's not cool, not cool. But it's nice to actually get this. So it was unexpected, and I'm very happy for it. I personally wish they would have looked into something else, just because I don't find the Orisa storyline all that intriguing. To
Whoa.
be honest,
Maybe Effie buys her a puppy to tie in with the emote.
I'm going probably not. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no. What? So, yeah, I'm excited for it to arrive. But yeah, they gave us like a week's notice. That was weird.
Yeah. I'm hoping this is secretly like Effie's like first invention was actually the Roomba, just so like they could actually clean up the Numbani airport, and then Orisa was built later as like the new defender of that general region. But I will say this: like I usually don't go out of my way to read books. I don't think this is going to be the one to get me to do that. But I am happy that we are getting lore, even if it is in a different sort of form. And I know a lot of people are going to be looking forward to picking this up. So, I look forward to next week when you give us your full review after you read all 320 what pages of the novel on your Kindle.
Yeah,
You never know.
I'll
Maybe it will just be too good that you don't want to put it down and you finish it on the first day.
I'll get right on that. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But
If I read anything, there's only been one time I've read a book in like a 1 week span, and that is Harry Potter.
oh,
Okay,
I was gonna meme and say like what, green eggs and ham?
and this is no way Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Just throwing that one out there. No Harry Potter. But, it could be good. It could be like I think high end, and this is for Warcraft because I've read a lot of the Warcraft books.
Mm-hmm.
I think like high end, you're looking at the Lich King book, which is the epitome. Low end, you're probably looking at the Garrosh book, and I forget the name in the book, but it's been a while since I've read. But Blizzard does put out good books. I will say that. So we'll see what they do.
Right on. Well, I guess you'll just have to let me know where on the spectrum that is going to fall once you do get around to it. But let's talk a little bit about what is going on in regards to the like competitive side of Overwatch. A lot of stuff going on with the Overwatch League. Actually, quite a bit of like new additions to the teams. And it does include, a team that has had their fair share of struggles in the Boston Uprising, who have went out and picked up another tank option for main tank. So they went out and they turned to the Noble main tank, Mikey. This is actually the third main tank option on this team. Now, Mikey had first appeared with the Sky Foxes, and this was back in like late 2019. And I know he's been in a number of like different tier 2 tournaments competing, like events like the Breaking Barriers tournament that they had. Same with the Mayhem Winter Classic. But what I thought was interesting about this one is the fact that this is like a local talent to the New England area. So we haven't really gotten to see that happen. I remember like when New York was trying to do this, and then it just went absolutely nowhere. So it's actually cool to see like a local talent being signed by that respective team for an actual change. I'm looking at this team now. They have 3 main tanks, which is honestly, like, that's more than every other Overwatch League team right now. They got Fusions, who's been, like, primarily starting every single time. They still have Axiom on the roster. And initially we saw a lot of, like, double main tank, double barrier compositions. But now they also have Mikey. But, through and through, like, Boston struggles have been pretty prominent throughout the season, so do you feel like a change of the guard in regards to, like, the main tank is going to be enough to maybe, like, breathe some new life into this team? You're muted, Ed.
Damn it. No, I was going to say, we've already seen this new Boston Uprising. Not with Mikey, though, but, with Punk. Right. We've seen a new era almost of the Boston Uprising, and they look halfway decent just by plugging in Punk. So hopefully Mikey can come in, take over Fusions, who, while people love him, is not the best. People just fell in love with him because of his like how good he performed in the World Cup 2 years ago. So he'll take over. Maybe him and Punk can really turn things around. And maybe they can start climbing a little, because right now they don't see, from what we saw last week, they are not a bottom 2 team from what we saw. They're maybe bottom like 6 to 8, but not bottom 2. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this team. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm thinking maybe I have a chance in our bet.
Like when I saw this, like anytime I see like a new addition to the team, like as soon as a Punk signing happened, I was like, oh no, they're trying to turn the tides. And then I saw Punk basically come in on it. They did look a completely different team, for the better in this case. And now, like, every time there's going to be another change, I was like, oh no, here we go. Here's another step towards that. So it's I will say this, it will make things between our bets, between the Spitfire and the Uprising, a lot more interesting moving forward. So, I'm curious to see whether or not we will just see the new tanks stepping up. Punk already has. We'll see if Mikey's going to get the starting nod moving forward for this team, or if they will keep going to the well a little too much in regards to Fusions. But that's not the only signing that we saw. We did see a couple of other signings that have already come into play, really, with the Melee tournament that happened. So let's take a look at the Toronto Defiant and what they have been up to. They've turned to Third Impact and picked up their DPS player, Zeke, who has been signed to a 14-day contract. Now, Zeke did make his debut during the main Melee, and right out of the gate, he was filling in for Surefour. Now, there's a lot of question marks around Surefour right now. There was basically no mention of like the Toronto Defiant or Overwatch in his Twitter profile at this point. So there's a lot of speculation as to whether or not Surefour is going to be retiring. But Zeke, he came in, he was playing a ton of Echo, as well as Mei during the melee. And, right now it would bring that DPS rotation up to 4 players when you factor in Logic's, Agilities, Surefour, and Zeke. But, looking at it, Ed, do you feel like the writing is kind of like on the wall at this point in regards to Surefour's status on this team?
Yeah, Surefour's done. Like I don't get how anybody can think that he's not. Just for the simple fact that it just makes the most sense for him to actually leave. It's definitely something that, like, I don't know if it's really that big of a deal, because it's not like he was like the be all end all for this team. But he was the fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes to say something. Like, if you're the fan favorite, you probably should, at least should be be playing. And the fact that he's not playing is just pure writing on the he's streaming more, which is another big indicator, because I know that was the thing with Sinatra.
Mm-hmm.
He's still streaming Overwatch, but he's streaming a lot more, and he's getting a lot of viewership where he's probably making a good chunk of money just doing that. So maybe he streams for Toronto. I don't know, but yeah, Surefour's done.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Zeke start immediately, I was like, yeah, I can put 2 and 2 together. So really, like, it does feel like it's only a matter of time before we hear further details. So do not be surprised if you see Zeke getting called out full-time and, that contract extension. And, in regards to Defiant, also a couple other notes in regards to the coaching staff side of things. Mangachu did recently transition to a coaching role on the team, and he will be coaching the DPS players. And then it was also announced on CA Overwatch, which is another of the esports podcasts out there that focus on the Defiant, that Numlocked is set to join as a tank coach. So another person very prominent in, just Overwatch history. I mean, whether it's Tier 2 or with the Valiant in Season 1, but Numlocked getting picked up as a tank coach for them as well. And really, like, if you think about it, that's probably been one of the bigger question marks revolving around the Toronto Defiant this season, has been Beast on the main tank position. So we'll see whether or not the extra coaching staff is going to kind of shore up that stuff.
But I thought Nevix was the second coming of Christ and was the best flex tank.
I'm not talking
in all of Overwatch.
We're talking
and then
tank.
Beast was so good that it wasn't an issue. Looking at you, Reinforce.
It's just one of those things. Like, this is a team, like, we've made this comparison before. Like, they went the field route of going out, signing very popular players, some of which were from Canada. I don't think that necessarily hurt them, but, just because you have big personalities does not mean you have big plays and big performances.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They went the fuel route. It didn't work. And now you're probably going to start seeing them go the not fuel route. Fuel 2.0. Wouldn't this be 3.0? Maybe even 4.0. The fuel we're seeing now. So yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to watch.
Right on. And looking at other new additions, we also have Vancouver picking up their first new I was gonna say like first new signee, but like they just overhauled the roster. Well, okay, first new signee since they overhauled the roster, in Shockwave, who was on the EU contenders team Raspberry Racers and did compete alongside KSA, who is now on the Titans as well. So like this is another player who came in, started basically right away, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't really see too much of the melee, but I heard he's very aggressive on the flank side, and I heard like that got exploited quite a bit.
Yeah, it's just, here's the thing with the Titans: you just cannot judge the Titans right now. It's for the same reason you can't judge a team based on the first 2 weeks of the Overwatch League or the first 2 weeks that they've played together. Like, I'm gonna give them till after this mini break, this 3-week break we're on, to truly judge them. They just kind of got thrown into the mix.
Right.
So you know what? It is what it is. The Titans, I think, can actually perform pretty well, but we just don't know. So that's just me.
I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like, obviously, they need a little bit of time to get that cohesion, and, add in more pieces to the puzzle. I don't know if that would necessarily offset it, and I wouldn't say it would reset it either, but, it's just like a minor bump along the way with that as well. But, it does give them another option where, as opposed to prior to that, they only had that starting 6, and then that was it. So definitely gonna be keeping our eyes on the Titans moving forward to see whether or not they can start to really put everything together. And, who knows, if that doesn't happen, they could be Team 20. I don't know where they are right now in the standings, but they've been on a little bit of a losing streak, so probably not too far from the bottom at this point. But, they've got some company. Like, the Justice have been another team this season who have really been struggling. Recently they went out and they picked up Janu and Stitch, both of who were on 14-day contracts. And we do know that the Justice have signed Janu to a long-term contract at this point. Now, there's been a lot of, things happening with the Justice. I believe last week we talked about some of the front of house changes that they did with Ballin getting cut as a GM, and they lost one of the coaches. And they did promote someone in house, so Preeg got promoted to the new general manager role. He was a coach on this team prior. But, we don't know what the status of Stitch is for the Justice, but Janu seems like he has found a new home, and now, we really get into that discussion of, so what's happening to that Swedish tank line? Looks like that is now completely out the window at this point.
Yeah, it's completely. Let's just be real. It's just not coming back. They're going all Korean, which is probably the smart move. They signed Janu to a long-term contract, which is super smart. You get probably one of the top 3 flex tanks in the league playing for you. And yeah, you're golden at that point. I think their tank line is set. Their support line is decent. They don't have a DPS lineup to save their life, unless they go with if they sign Stitch long term, because we haven't gotten word if they're signing Stitch long term or not.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
It's kind of like a reverse LA Valiant situation where, going into the season, we're like, man, these DPS players can really pop off, and then we question everything else around that team. But Valiant have definitely seemed to piece things together a lot more quickly compared to the Justice. At this point, so I don't think we can necessarily expect the same sort of results in that span of time as of yet until we see other changes for the Justice. Now, in regards to Stitch, I'm not sold, if I'm being honest. I would not be surprised to see if they go out and, trial, with the 14-day contract or deal another DPS option out there, but who knows. But I will say, like, the Korean talent influx is definitely here to stay at this given point in time for the Justice moving forward. Now, outside of that, obviously the big thing over the weekend was the May Melee tournament, which was our, regional competition. You had the APAC region as well as the North America side of the tournament. And it was the Shanghai Dragons and the San Francisco Shock who had won their respective regions. So with their wins, both teams received $40,000 as well as 3 bonus wins that were added to their season record. And, I've not gotten to see the finals for either region. Obviously, because I was busy with CFF, I really only got to see a couple of maps here and there, primarily from the NA side of the tournament. But I heard, like, Dynasty kind of popped off, but, like, they couldn't play Echo to save their life. Just for whatever reason, Prophet just can't pick up Echo or play Echo at the same level as some of these other DPS players. But the Dragons basically took the finals, but they had to reverse sweep the Dynasty in order to get that win. Now, I have to say, like, when I read that, I was like, wait, what? Like, Dynasty just kind of fizzled out? Like, I guess they had played in, like, another, like, 5-map series before this one. But, looking back, I was like, well, that hasn't stopped teams before. Like, I remember the Spitfire back in Season 1 played, like, 12 maps, like, the one day when they won the championship? Or something crazy like that. So, like, teams have been able to do it before, but to see them go up 3-0 and then not get that, final blow there to just kind of, like, seal the fate of the Dragons was a little disheartening. But I will say, just making it to the finals in this tournament in itself, regardless of everything else that is happening in APAC, because we still don't know what the hell is going on, was at least nice to see. But I'm more curious moving forward, knowing that, okay, now, the Spark have, like, their second DPS option moving forward, because Architect was not able to play in this. So I want to see where the landscape is going to kind of shift and adjust moving forward, going into this next tournament, once we do get to resume some Overwatch League play after this 3-week period.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because now there's been a lot of movement. Teams are going to be able to practice together. People are going to get their visa things worked out, hopefully. So that's going to be interesting to see. We're going to get Sparkle. He'll be in there, which is exciting for all. As far as the Melee goes, I mean, I think everyone kind of expected the Shock and the Dragons to win it.
That depends on who you're asking. I know a lot of people were rooting for Philadelphia.
No, rooting, yes.
I mean, people were picking them too. Now, the analysts were more Shock over Fusion, though. But, like, that was the other name in the region that was getting pulled. Whereas in APAC, it was only Dragons.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the winners, but it was who was in the final game with.
Mm-hmm.
I think was the big issue. Not issue, but it was the big thing is, we saw all these, we saw the mayhem. Like, that's insane. We saw the mayhem in this, and I never would have thought that. and they performed super well. Like for a while there, I thought they were gonna beat the Shock to win it all. Like that Mayhem Shock matchup, super good. Um, it's just, I like these kind of tournaments. I don't want them like. I saw like the fan base was kind of split between whether they like the tournament format or if they like the more divisional type stuff.
Okay.
I still want the divisional stuff, but these kind of tournaments are super fun. Super fun. And we're gonna keep doing them. I mean, obviously, we're gonna keep doing them because, well, they kind of hinted that they were going to, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see what occurs. Where we'll find out more next week, because I think the Overwatch commissioner said he's going to announce future tournaments and all that bejazzle next week. So we'll see what he actually says.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people like the tournament aspect. Obviously, the whole home and away model had a couple of hiccups for various reasons, some of which had nothing to do with the actual Overwatch League. But I have to say, like, just seeing the Mayhem make it to the finals, regardless of what the result was, is a huge win for this team. You had a lot of the naysayers out there who, going into this, seeing the Mayhem as the number 2 seed, we're just using that narrative that, oh, well, you only got that based off of your strength of schedule because, they were facing, like, Washington and Boston primarily in, like, those qualifier matches that to determine the seed in. And then, they come in. They, because they were second seed, they didn't have to play in the first round. They went up against the Atlanta Reign. They beat them 3-1. Then they were up against the Fusion, who were the other, like, favorite team in this. Also beat them 3-1. And, they took a couple of maps off the Shock as well. So, like, that was a really cool thing to see, knowing that after the amount of changes that we've seen with this team, knowing that they have kind of, like, course corrected on a couple of different occasions, to see them put everything together and really push the Shock was amazing. And I really hope that this is something that they can build off of. You have to think, regardless of that, Kuki and all of the staff on that roster are very happy with the overall level of performance that we saw out of them. And I think now there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be pushing the Mayhem up higher up their rankings. Whereas before, a lot of people were very tentative to even have them in the discussion for, like, a top 5 Overwatch League team at this point. So, hopefully we'll see them continue to build off of that. And I'd say, like, seeing the Shock win, not too much of a surprise on that end. Just because, like, even without Architect, the amount of depth that team has still is absolutely ridiculous. Maybe not as ridiculous as the amount of C9s that I saw being tweeted over the course of the weekend as I was watching movies, but there might have been a few of those kind of, like, sprinkled in here and there. Definitely didn't happen in a majority of the series.
No, it didn't happen in the majority of the series. And the thing is every time you hear someone say C9, there's a 90% likelihood that wasn't a C9. It's just like God, YouTube chat. So every time anyone wins a map and someone from the opposing team is alive, it's a C9. Like, that's just the way it is. Every single time, it's C9. Oh, there's one person alive, C9. No, it wasn't a C9. A C9 is when you're winning the match and everyone gets off the payload. Or if if you have to stay on the payload because it's overtime and you leave the payload. That's a C9. So, Get with it,
It's
YouTube
okay,
chat.
Ed. Like the BlizzCon message telling people to stay on the payload is going to magically fix everything, where we'll never see another C9 again. That's why they even put like in parentheses, do it.
Oh, C9s.
And
The bane of everyone's existence.
you know, just speaking of competitive Overwatch for a second, I have to say something, and this is directed directly at Tier 2 Overwatch. I don't know if you've been on Twitter the past couple of days, Ed, but Leg Day, you know, kind of started this trend.
I just don't get this. I know where you're going with on this, and I just don't get it.
Okay, so they've been doing this hashtag for T2 marketing to promote the Path to Pro, right? And you know, Leg Day, he does this tweet where he's laid in bed, you know, he's you know, covered up underneath the blankets, and he's like, I'm trying to remember like what the caption even was, but it was something about like, you know, just being in bed with him, but only if like you want to watch like Contenders on the laptop. And it's just like,
Yeah, no, it's like you can come cuddle with me if you don't mind me playing Contenders on my laptop. I'm like, well, this makes zero sense. And then everyone started. It's like that stupid ass baby bait thing that everyone was doing. I'm like, oh my god, you're literally the worst human beings alive right now, and I hate all of you.
like I get what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to promote T2. It's probably not the way to do it. You know, maybe better to have it just, I don't know, you know, things actually promoted in the launcher. But hey, at least like during this break, a lot of Tier 2 stuff is happening on the Overwatch League channel. So, you know, I have to say kudos to Blizzard on that for actually pushing that narrative and actually promoting the shit, for that matter, which is good to see. Because, like, I'm pretty sure they're even doing that Runaway Lunatic High show match on the Overwatch League channel as well on top of that. But, you know, like, the whole, like, Tier 2 thing that's been going on, I'm just like, what the F is going on? I don't know if, like, people are just trying to bait someone to be thirsty on their main account or what the damn agenda is, but I can't tell you the amount of times I've cringed scrolling through my Twitter feed, and then you have... There was something I saw earlier today from Unter, who was signed by the LA Valiant, who was the head coach for, I want to say, the British Hurricane. And he released this video that was cringier than the other stuff that happened. Using a lot of innuendo puns, probably the best way to put it. And I'm just like, oh
in your endo.
I'm just like, oh, this is... Things just keep going bad from worse, and I am ashamed for this community.
You know what? I'm throwing one person and one person alone under the freaking bus on this. Labasco. You totally did it. You did the in bed, laying in bed, cuddle emote, and I'm ashamed to say I know you. It's just no. No. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah. And, you know, based off of the viewership I saw earlier today during, like, the playoffs, and, you know, I think this is only day one, but, like, initially when I tuned into the EU side, they were at, like, 800 views. And then, like, later in the day, it was, like, 1,300, 1,400. I don't have enough data here to know whether or not the thirst bait is helping or making viewership worse. All I know is there's too much of it going on, and we need to put an end to it once and for all. But anyways, regardless, you know, if Tier 2 interests you, don't fall for the bait. Just tune into, you know, the YouTube channel. Don't fall for all of this, you know, nonsense going on in regards to Twitter as a whole. But, you know, just across the board, like, I expected more from the community.
I didn't. I don't expect much of this community. No offense, but you haven't truly proven yourself to be that kind of community.
I mean, this is also the the same community who hasn't really done too much with some of the new anniversary skins yet, so I guess I can't say I'm too surprised. But anyway, speaking of the anniversary, Ed, have you picked up any of the new stuff yet? Like in regards to, okay, so like that was like through you like actually buying it, or did you actually unlock stuff?
Oh no, I haven't really.
Okay.
I mean, it's not from lack of playing.
Mm-hmm.
I've legit been playing. It's just I haven't gotten any of the new stuff, and that's a huge problem. Is you just don't get any of the new stuff.
Well, I feel like for this event in particular, it's compounded by the fact that it's a culmination of every event ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, the likelihood of you actually getting new stuff is kind of diminished by that fact.
Yes.
But, like, even in, like, events past, I know people were having some issues actually acquiring the new stuff via the loot boxes anyway.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any really of the new stuff. None of the new skins. I've not gotten any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad, but, it is what it is. I just haven't gotten any of it. I've bought stuff.
Right.
And I mean, all right, I got all the Sigma. I got the 9 wins to get my Sigma.
Which was the carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber, and did all that. I think I got 6 loot boxes throughout the whole week, and I got stuff. It's just nothing that matters from the new stuff. I may have gotten some, voice lines or sprays.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff doesn't intrigue. Haven't gotten any of the skins or stuff like that, other than the one I bought, which was I bought that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's still a good event and everything. It's just haven't really spent a whole lot of time grinding out those loot boxes, and I still have like 6,000 currency. So we'll see if I actually, cave and buy some more of the stuff. I don't think I'd buy any of the new stuff because that'd take up all my currency.
Right.
But I might buy some of the old stuff. Or I might just buy the brig cat. There's a chance I might just do that.
Yeah, Chonky Cat.
Oh yeah, he's thick. He's a big boy.
Yeah, that was definitely one that I had unlocked for the last one, for sure. But, outside of that, really not too much else going on that we haven't already mentioned. Kind of like a quieter week, at least for, like, general Overwatch stuff. So we'll see when we'll get, like, the next experimental card, or if they're just going to hold off until, like, the event wraps up, things like that. But, just make sure, for everyone out there, like, if you are looking at running past events, obviously the arcade mode is going to be rotating a lot of stuff on like a daily basis. So, if you're looking for a certain thing in particular, they should have like a schedule posted somewhere. It might even be up on the Overwatch site in particular. But things do change frequently. So if you don't want to play Lucio Ball, don't worry, it will be gone the next day.
I think that's Friday. I want to say Friday's Lucio Ball day. So just don't even log into Overwatch. Because... No, wait, no. Tomorrow's May. Just as bad.
Yeah, that's... I think a lot of people would argue it's worse.
I think Monday was the Uprising event, which is the quickest of the PvE modes. So if you need to, like...
Yeah, quick loot box.
Do that one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That one only takes like 8 minutes to complete, which is not much.
Which is about like how long an Uprising match lasts. 8 minutes.
Exactly.
I had to throw that one in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some things are just perfect.
Oh, I get it.
But anyways, Ed, I think we can just wrap it up then, since not too much else is going on. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more like general Overwatch stuff going on in these next couple of weeks, with Overwatch League being on a break. And you know, they did confirm like we are gonna have like another melee. I really hope this isn't gonna be like a monthly thing, but you know, we'll just have to wait and find out next week. So we'll have all the details when those announcements come out. So we'll see what direction they're going to take. But, you know, would not be surprised for additional format changes even beyond that at this point. But let's call it here. So if you guys want to help us out, please do us a favor. Head on over to iTunes and write us a review. Let us know how we are doing. We are always open ears for that kind of stuff. If you want to support our podcast or the podcasts that are available to you on our podcast network, consider pledging to our Patreon, where we have tiers starting at just $1 a month, and you can find more info at patreon.com/OWL network. So you too can join the likes of our master and above patrons in Daniel, Owl, Kesha, Agent Life, and 044 in helping our network grow. It is the perfect thing to remind Ramses to actually make sure his lights are on so he doesn't fade into the abyss to never be seen again. But, you know, after seeing Labasco's tweet, maybe that would be for the better for not only him, but for all of us. I don't know. But anyways, Ed, why don't you go ahead and let our listeners know how they can contact our show?
All right, so you can contact us through email at hndoverwatch@gmail.com. We are on Twitter, and that's over at hndoverwatch. We do have a website where we post everything. That's owlnshow.com. We do have YouTube, youtube.com/Overwatch League Network. Come join us on Discord at discord.me/OWLNshow. And then we do stream live on Twitch at twitch.tv/OWLNshow. We are a Twitch affiliate, so help support the show by subscribing to our channel and earn our network emoticon. We do podcast stream pretty regularly. So Overwatch League Network airs Mondays at 6 p.m. Pacific. It used to start at 7. It's now starting at 6, so just be aware of that. OWL by the Numbers, our fantasy podcast, airs Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, but we are currently on a 3-week break because, well, Overwatch is on a 3-week break. So we'll be back with that. Then we have this show, Heroes Never Die, which normally airs Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. And then Tavern Tales is our Hearthstone Battlegrounds podcast. Airs Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. Actually, right after the show, we'll be doing the Tavern Tales over at twitch.tv/Tavern Tales. You can find me personally on Twitter at Ednar83 or on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ednar. Where can they find you at?
Well, you can find me over on Twitter at TotallyDrunkCTR. And, you know, I'm going to try to stream a little bit more since, got a little bit more free time now since I kind of cleared my Mondays. I don't know if I'll actually stream Mondays, but I've been getting an itch to stream more Battlegrounds content, so I got to find something that's going to work on that front. But, you know, got a couple weeks off Tuesday night, so maybe before the movie night, I'll start doing some more Battleground stuff. But I'll be on twitch.tv/normallydrunk as well. Well, with that being said, guys, I do want to thank you again for joining us on this, should I say mini-sode? It's like an hour. I mean, it's a mini-sode for our standards of Heroes Never Die. This has been episode number 212. I've been your host, Normally Drunk, joined, as always, by my co-host, Big Head Ed. And we will see you guys back next week. You guys take care and have a good night.
Adios.